Hey, welcome back to the Peterway here in Sylt. Day number 4. Is it day number 4 already? It might even be day number 5. But we do have no wind at the moment. If you've been looking outside, you've been looking at the webcams, you will know it looks like today we're not going to have much action. So what we thought we'd do is we'd get in a bit of a special guest. Now, this special guest is not in Sylt at the moment. He's German. He's got a bit of an injury and he's probably not a happy boy, but we're going to talk about, obviously, we're going to talk about the injury. We're going to talk about, when he's going to be coming back on the water, and then all things apart from that, cheerier things, happier things. Who is it? Well, it is, of course, one of the biggest names in windsurfing. It is Philip Koster.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Ben.
How you doing, man? You good? Well, obviously, that's a stupid question because for people who don't know, you're obviously injured at the moment. You're in Gran Canaria?
Yeah, I'm on Gran Canaria at home. Have been injured for quite a while now. So, I adjusted already a bit. But, it's never really a fun time, honestly.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's just get the injury talk out the way, because I'm sure you've had to talk about it all the time and you're like, oh, here we go. But I think it's good just to keep, and it's probably useful for windsurfers out there because I know they sort of misdiagnosed it, when you first did it. Maybe let's just tell the people at home how you did it and kind of that process of where you are in the injury now. Or for me, anyway, I'd like to know.
Well, I did it just training in Salinas in Pozo.
Okay.
I just tried a very weird 360 on a flat section. It was nothing really epic. Something I've always done and never really did anything. I landed flat, and then my front foot came out of the strap and the back foot stayed in.
Okay.
And then, it was not a big day. So the wave didn't really catch me or anything. It didn't twist. But just from the landing and slipping away, I think I heard a pop and I felt a little bit of pulling, which I also remembered from the knee. And the pulling normally is always the ligaments. Now that I know that, I would have gone straight away to a good doctor. But here, the doctor first said, when the first hospital said, oh, it's just a little... it's just going to get bruised. It's nothing bad. In 10 days, you will find. I said, all right, I'll wait 10 days. Then I checked another doctor since it didn't really get better. Yeah, there's a chipped off bone. I did all the tests. I did MRIs, TAC, everything that you can do. And the other doctor said, with the chipped off bone, you can probably sail in a month and a half.
When was this? What time of year?
That was end of May. But then I said, all right, it's going to be painful, so I'll try to go to Fiji. Fiji didn't go at all. I tried to step on the board and had so much pain that I just canceled everything.
For people, again, and other people, because I obviously know what happened there because I was watching the live stream, the people who are knowing, you flew all the way to Fiji, which was what? Like
2 days?
2 days, like massive traveling, getting your gear to the island. You then get the boat to the reef. You're probably you must have thought, oh, it's touch and go. And then I heard you sailed, from the guys that were there, you sailed your first wave, you dropped in and went, no.
That doesn't go. Well, at least I have 1 or 2 pictures with cloud break in the back. It's nice. But it was a very expensive trip for...
And then what did you do? Just come back to the boat, went back to and just booked a flight home?
Yeah.
Wow, man, that must have been heartbreaking as well,
It was good that I had my friend Jorge with me for all the carrying of the gear and just everything. He even taped my foot well. We practiced that a lot with the physio here. So I was kind of ready for it, but even the painkillers didn't really kick in enough, I think. It was just not really meant to be. But I tried it. I had kind of a good feeling about it. At least I tried it. But.
Yeah. So then you get back home?
I get back home, kept on going with rehab. Just a lot of physio, a lot of training, just to be sort of ready for Pozo, since nobody told me that the ligaments are broken. I trusted the doctors here, everything. They said it's fine, so I just kept on going. It's just a bad situation then. And then I think 4 or 5 days before the event in Boston, I tried my first session just on the flat water beach in Bahia de Formas in Gran Canaria.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was able to plane with a lot of pain, but it was possible. So then I kind of decided that I would try to do Poso. But yeah, the first elimination was way too painful actually. But I just kept on going on painkillers. But yeah, it was definitely not a good time, I think.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you were doing okay in Poso. It wasn't, you know.
Well, I had my foot wrapped into like this physio tape, then a lot of silver tape, so everything is just not moving.
Yeah.
It was possible to sail. Landings have been fine. I could jump. Actually, I've done my highest jumps, I don't know, weeks after and before. After. And yeah, I mean, jumping was fine. Wave riding was painful. Like just to get a backside turn or a front side was kind of impossible.
Yeah. I mean, I know because at this point, you didn't know the actual injury yet because,
Yeah.
I mean, I've done the same injury of you. And I always remember when I was coming back, the most painful bit was the bottom turn pressing, like or jibing, just the jibe where you put your foot against the foot strap. He was so sore. I mean, I just so to tell the guys at home because I thought this was quite funny, and also just so you know, I know the background is mirrored, but I have buttons to press this, and I said to you because I saw you sort of limping a bit, and I'm obviously filming for the training diaries before Poso. I'm like, yeah, how's it looking? You're not walking well, and you're like, I'm not paid to walk. And I was thinking, oh, this guy means business. In other words, you're saying, look, I might not be able to walk, but I'm going to throw it down on the water.
Well, I think once I'm really mentally focused to do something, I can go through the pain. But then at the end, it was just too much, I think. If I'm mentally ready that I can do something, I try to put in all the work. I do everything. I had my physio on the beach also to treat me before and after the heat and just have everything ready. The only thing I had to do is actually just walk into the water and sail. So all the other parts were covered. But yeah, a few heats went well. I was not used to sailing, honestly. We had a very bad time of wind in the winter, so I didn't really have many hours on the water. And then the injury, so there was a lot of things in the heat that were missing. Actually, just time on the water. I was not really feeling like, wow, this is going well.
Yeah. I mean, the interesting thing for me is you say that, but I remember watching you sailing thinking, you know, because I'm obviously commentating, I'm thinking, I wonder how he's going to be. And then your first couple of heats, I was like, he looks like he's still going all right. I mean, you still had stalled doubles, you know, push forwards.
Well, the jumps, they were not the problem, honestly. I don't know why it didn't hurt, but I think just since the foot was not getting twisted, that was totally fine. But then the other part of wave riding, yeah, not a chance.
So I'm just trying to sort out my mirrored screen, but I might get my assistant to do that in the background. I think they can do that on their other computer. People are upset that. Okay, we'll get him in. So yeah, so you finished Poso. Where did you finish in Poso in the end?
I think I finished after the double in 5th place.
Yeah, which is pretty good considering when we look back.
It was a good result, actually. I'm really happy with it. I mean, obviously, I would love to win it, but it was not in it. I couldn't go on. I was super tired then, anyways, with cramps and stuff. I mean, I was just not ready to sail. But yeah, anyways, I'm really happy about Poso. I mean, went well.
So then you finished Poso. What happened? What happened then? Because you still at this point don't know actually the extent of the injury.
Yeah, the foot was still swollen. I had a huge ball liquid on top of the foot for the whole time. It just didn't go away. So I thought, yeah, maybe I should check for a different doctor. I contacted Red Bull. They have like a very good like rehab center in Austria. So I went there to get everything checked, and he straight away said, yeah, you gotta need to find a specialist since there might be a Lisfranc injury. Yeah. So then in Munich, doctor said, yeah, it's everything broken. All the ligaments are torn. So yeah, I had to get surgery. So the next day I went in a surgery, a few screws from the side in, everything fixed, and now yeah, on crutches with a boot.
So
the home life kind of.
yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, just for people out there, because obviously there's a lot of windsurfers watching this. The
Yeah.
Liz Frank, and I've had one. I know Justina's had one. Lots of windsurfers have had them out there, and it is a really common injury. And I am like a broken record. Anytime anyone knows me, anytime anyone injures their foot, I'm like, make sure you check the Liz Frank. Make sure you ask them, because the only way to see, because the Liz Frank is like this bit of your foot here. And basically your foot's like that, and you can only tell when you have an x-ray with weight on the foot, because it spreads out the foot. So if you get like just an x-ray of your foot, it doesn't, you can't really tell if it's a Liz Frank. You have to have weight bearing exercise, x-ray. So I know it's not an easy one to diagnose, and if it's loose or whatever, you have to basically get it fixed. So you've got how many screws in your foot?
I have 4 screws in the foot to have it fixed. Yeah, ligaments are fine now, but yeah, it just takes a long time. Now on the 18th of October, I think I will get them out of the foot again.
Yeah.
And then I can slowly start again, but it takes forever. Like by a week, it's 10 kilos that I can put on additional, and yeah, I'm not really a small guy, so it will take a little longer.
When you expected to sort of get back in the water? I think that's the main question. You're obviously asking this, we don't know, but what's it looking like? What sort of time period?
Well, I think what would make sense is that I'm on the water in December. I would like that, but I think just to be 100% sure that all the muscles are well trained, everything is good, that I don't get again an injury, since everything is just out of shape, I think towards January.
Yeah.
So in that case, it's going to be quite close for the next event. I think it's going to be Japan in February, if everything happens like it's planned.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see. I mean, I will try to put in all the work and maybe go to Austria and train there for a month, I think.
Yeah.
So I have a chance against everyone with these light winds, but
well, you never know. I mean, interestingly, we just had like Leonard Neubauer winning the freestyle here in Sylt, double elimination. And he's just come back, obviously not from a Liz Frank injury, but from pretty big injury. I think he was out 14 months. So he's had a huge sort of recovery period, and he's come back super strong. It's not like you forget how to windsurf. I mean, you've had a couple of big injuries. Your knee was the last one, I guess.
Yeah, I think in 2016 I broke my knee. A lot of all the ligaments, actually, like complete thing, like what the skiers normally have.
Yeah.
So that, I think I went very fast with that one. I think in 8 months I was kind of ready. The first 2 months I didn't do anything because I was just not motivated to do anything.
Yeah.
Since
still a long time
after such a big injury, it's really hard to start, I think. First, I need like quite a long time to realize what it is and just find motivation.
Yeah.
And then once I get it, then it goes fast. But
and psychologically, I think, I know from personal experience, coming back from injury, especially, I think you're going to find it with your foot, you lose the confidence, because, like you said, when you injured it, it didn't feel like much. When I did my foot, it was exactly the same. 360, the wave just caught me a little, didn't think anything of it. And I thought, wow. So then when you come back from injury, it's like, can I do that? Is it okay to do that? So that's an interesting one. We've got a few questions coming in. So if you are out there, wherever you're watching, Facebook, YouTube, you can ask a question to Mr. Koster here. He is sitting at home in Gran Canaria, so he's got a bit of time on his hands, although he has got a young family now. How is she? Is she good?
Yeah, she's very good. She's 3.5 now, so it's never really boring at home.
No, I can
right now she's in school, so
okay.
Got a little bit of time.
It's actually fun because there's quite a lot of windsurfers now with young kids. And the funniest one for me is Balls Muller. He's here with nearly a 2-year-old or something like that.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it's like she is just carnage. She's on this little bike spinning around. Yours
is also going well.
Yes, exactly. As it's like 11 months now. So I'm like, I can see what's coming, and I'm like,
So
oh,
you're getting your best sleep right now on Sylt, right?
I'm trying my best. I don't look like it. Right, let's have a look at the questions coming through. We've got Benny, you're backwards. Yeah, we've sorted that out now. We've sorted that. I think there's been a few questions asked earlier, and actually talking of bowls, Muller, triple loop. How much would it cost? Should we start a crowdfunding?
Actually, this year I was ready for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the triple loop, let's start. I mean, you've obviously thought about it a lot. You've tried a few.
For a long time, yeah.
Yeah. Ricardo Campello has had like a famous couple of days attempts. And if I remember rightly, JP and Neil probably put up 10,000 euros if he did it. And I think the end they paid him half of that or something. Would that motivate you? Is cash a motivation for the triple forward?
Well, in life, I think cash is always important, right? But I think I just have my personal goal in the triple loop, honestly. I've been trying it for so long, actually, and also without camera, without having it filmed on Gran Canaria sometimes.
Really?
But I think, yeah, next year I should really do it.
So how
next year I'm gonna be 30, so it's time to do a triple.
That makes sense. One for each 10 years, one for each decade. How close have you been so far? What's your closest attempt?
I mean, the closest is 2.5, 2.75.
Is that like, because I know, have you ever water started like feet out the straps, water started away?
Well, after recovering a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Because it was such a heavy landing.
Well, the thing is, you land, like in my attempts, I landed too much on the neck.
Okay.
And then you just, I don't know, I want to cry. So it's not really something where you say, yeah, now I'm going to go quickly up. You still need a little bit to recover.
Yeah.
But it's definitely on my mind for next year.
Obviously, I pretty much know the answer to this, but where's the best spot?
I think the best spot would be, well, here in Gran Canaria, in Pozo, or in Salinas. At the sunken bunker, the wave is really steep, so there could be a really good option. Vargas, where I'm very confident, here in Gran Canaria.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, I think even in Klipmøller would be kind of good on like a very rough day when it's very strong wind and just everywhere white water and ramps. I think there could also be quite good.
What I find crazy is, like, I think most people in the world, if they're going to go and try a triple, they 100% get it filmed, and they 100% have like a first aid kind of, jet ski on sides. For you to be trying it without that, just doing it because your own personal goal, that is incredible, dude.
Well, most of the times I have my wife on the beach filming me, so I try to do it then and that time. But sometimes when you feel ready and everything feels right, you just go for the stuff. Like, how do you learn like a backloop or something? You just go for it.
Yes.
But obviously you need to have something to prove nowadays. Nowadays, if it's not filmed, it didn't happen.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I would just be thinking, just even if I don't land it, at least I've got evidence of some crazy crash. It's like, because I mean that the triple. What's the main problem with the triple? What's been the main thing?
I would say, well, first of all, you need to get the right height. Just to get like a big enough of a ramp to rotate the right way in the first ones. The front loop has to be very sideways. The second one also still has to be a little bit horizontal, so you're not really going over the top. Just everything has to be kind of right.
Yeah.
But I think what I learned in the other tries is that I need at least like 8 or 9, 10 meters. You can't really do it from a little chop. It's impossible already. So going super fast. Big enough of a ramp. The ramp is really important. So
have you got any other moves on in your list? Like when Bowles came to Pozo, I don't know if you saw that list he came up with, which is like shifty forward, shifty double forward, like some crazy stuff. I mean, I think you've tried push loop double forward before. Would that be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
How's
tried
that?
that one. It felt all right. It felt easier than trying a triple.
Really?
So because you get the height very easy, you don't really stop getting the height once you start rotating. So you do the push loop at the highest part, and then you start rotating and see where it goes. You don't open the sail after the first forward. So there,
Yeah.
you kind of just keep on rotating. Yeah. Otherwise, I think the tabletop back loop looks fun. I never tried it.
Yeah. I can
Still have to
imagine.
change the
I
proper tabletop again.
Yes.
I just
What I found interesting is when Bals did that, I thought of you and I thought, I bet you are like, right, I need to get over this injury because that's coming in. And I can see that getting more tweaked and
anyways, for the tabletop forward, you don't really need to know how to land a good tabletop.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
such a different tabletop. You don't really need to, I don't know, do it really.
How's your tabletops?
Oh, I haven't done them in 10 years, I think. Need a quick refreshing course, I think.
Okay, I'll go through to the next question. Question from Ezzy Wave Sweden says, looks like you're using a thruster, or is it a custom shape?
Well,
Depends, I guess, where it's talking about. Because
my production boards they work on thruster and quads, so
okay,
that worked out well. And Posto, I tried to use thruster since it's better for wave riding, a little bit faster than twin fin, I figured. And you can do a bit more spray, which is good in the heat. Otherwise, quads, I've been using the same board also in Australia as quad, so sort of works. Really happy with it. So you can really get both into it, which is quite fun. Haven't tried it in single fin, but maybe I need to use that for a triple.
maybe you never know.
Maybe I have to go back to the good days.
The secret weapon. Yeah, we'll have to see. Another question coming in from Waldorf. It says, favorite windsurfing spot in Western Australia?
There's quite a few in Western Australia. If I want to have a long, good wave, that would be Narralui in the northwestern part. And then obviously Margaret River is really fun since it's, a short wave, but it's super powerful and you really have to figure it out. Otherwise, you really get torn apart.
Yeah.
And then I think Esperance in the south is really, really fun. So these are my three main spots. Coronation, I like it, but it's it gets very crowded. So
Yeah.
I'm more of a relaxed type of guy that wants
Out of
to
interest, if you could do an event anywhere in the world, where would you have that event?
That would be tricky. They did Cloudbreak, which is one of my kind of favorite places to sail. I've been there a few years ago, and that was really, really cool. I think Margaret River for the a proper 4 or 5 star one. That would be really fun.
I just because you mentioned Margaret River, I thought in my head, I've always thought to have a full 5-star PWA IWT, event there, because the wave, like you say, it's quite short, but it's got so much consequence, and you've got to hit it, and it like you everything. If you don't hit it, you're not scoring. That's it.
If you're out of timing, you also don't have any wave left.
Yeah.
So you really need to have the right timing. You need to know the spot well. And it has a lot of consequence. I mean, the lip is so thick that you break everything otherwise.
It can
catch a lot of waves in a short period of time if it's not crowded. So in a heat, it would be perfect.
Yeah. Like I said, we because obviously Peru's just happened, which it looks an amazing spot, I think, for free sailing. But I always thought for competition it's quite long. So
it's very long. But what I saw in the competition, it looked very fun. But the people caught maybe 2 waves in a heat of half an hour or 40 minutes.
Yeah,
and that's just not, I don't know, that cool in a contest. You want to have a few extra waves so you can try trickier stuff.
yeah,
not that you fall and then it's gone. all the chance to
It's
win.
true, because you could see that with the riders. I thought, because I was obviously watching at home, it was like you kind of feel that everyone goes, well, I'm only going to get 2 waves, maybe 3 if I'm lucky, so I
Yeah.
can't mess them up, so I have to go relatively safe. Whereas Margie's, you need to go relatively safe because you don't want to break everything, but you've got to hit it because that's the only score you're going to get. But you
Yeah.
can have a couple of goes, and I mean, we've seen Scotty sailing there and stuff. You know, there's some good local guys who hit it late.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, otherwise Peru is really like a fun place to sail. I mean, the sailors that competed on the last event, they were ripping. I mean,
yeah,
that was fun.
yeah,
I mean, I watched almost all the heats. I mean, obviously I'm behind the computer on this contest.
yeah,
But yeah, if I would have competed there, I think I would have been in trouble.
yeah.
I think just catching one wave and taking forever to get back upwind.
Yeah, it didn't look your type of wind. Like, I was looking at some guys.
But that's why I'm trying to now use this time of my injury to lose, I don't know, 10 kilos maybe.
Really? How heavy have you been? What's been your kind of weight?
Well, normally I'm at 95, so that's my competition weight.
Yeah.
So that always worked well with the events. So we always canceled heat when there was no wind. But yeah, nowadays it seems like there's not even one heat canceled because of the wind dropping. So just to be kind of in the contention of winning something, I have to lose weight. Otherwise, against Baptiste or all the Japanese crew, I don't have a chance.
It's an interesting point because we obviously the freestyles just happened here. I don't know if you watched it much, but we had Amado Vrieswijk, and I think he was against Thomas Traverser or something. And you know, Amado at the moment is 103 kilos. And then what's Thomas? 63, let's say. There's 40 kilos difference. And I guess at you at 95, you know, you're coming against like Bant Rodiger or Camille, you know. How many kilos that is? Probably at least 30.
Yeah.
You know, 30 kilos different.
Of course, I had my big equipment that worked well, but I mean, there's also such a big difference of a 100-liter waveboard to, I don't know what they're using, 65 to 70 or.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks nicer, I think, on the wave, just to have a smaller board. And I think, yeah, that's just the way it has to be right now. That's my sort of professional side.
Yeah, but I can see that.
I think I have now the time. Yeah.
No, but I've been obviously watching heats in Maui, and it's not until you step back afterwards and then you go, okay, who was in the final? And you look at the weights of the guys. I mean, obviously they're ripping. I'm not saying anything, but they are lighter guys. You know, where Marsilio's been struggling a few times, and they're catching more waves because they're able to get around on some equipment. So I think, you know, obviously there's going to be chances where you get to shine when it's windy and Pozo and you don't move during a double. You're just like absolutely locked and they're getting blown around. But then in the lighter stuff, they're obviously going to have more of an advantage. Right. Let's have a look at just a few more questions. Apart from a loose nut in the head, what is required in conditions and material for the triple loop? Okay, I think we've probably already covered that one with the triple loop before. What sort of size? Just out of interest, what would you say your equipment? What size sail would you want for a triple loop?
I think for a triple loop, I wouldn't go under 4 meters. So it has to be, I think, between 4.0 to 4.5.
Okay.
I think everything under 4 meters, doesn't matter how good a sail is, it's just a bit too nervous. Okay. So if you want to rotate and keep height in the air, just a bigger sail just makes a bit more sense.
Okay.
For me. So I think doubles are also just nicer to do on a 4.2, 4.5 than on 3.7 or 5.0. So just a nice, comfortable sail and fast board.
Yeah, makes sense. What sort of size board are you using in the wind? Like you're 95 kilos. Are you using 80?
83.
83. Okay, so 10 litre. That's small comparatively.
For contest, I use 87 just to get around a bit more. But I think, 83 has been really working good. Okay. I try to use bigger boards in contest just to land the tricks on the waves a bit but I would say. Okay. That always helps in the contest. But But otherwise, I try to stick to smaller board.
Okay, that's interesting because that's quite like comparatively, it's quite small. You know, I think of myself as what say I'm 80 kilos. That's like me using a 70-liter board.
Mhm.
In theory, doesn't always go like that, but yeah, that's quite small. Interesting. Maybe that's the big thing with the bigger guys because it's width as well, and all
Yeah.
those other things come into play. Right, more questions are coming through from what I've seen. Can you still do some aerobic training to kind of stay in shape, like riding a bike or swimming? Are you
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of bike now. Always on the heel, so I don't really do much pressure in the middle foot.
yeah.
That kind of helped me. So every day, kind of 1 hour, I try to spend on the bike. Swimming, I haven't really done much lately. I can't really go in and out that well with the foot, so I wouldn't really risk, I don't know, snapping a nail
Yeah.
through. So I think trying to keep it safe on the bike at home is kind of a good option. Otherwise, just weight training for the upper body and a few things on the yoga mat, but nothing really
Frustrating,
exciting.
isn't it? Oh, I can even just hear you talking about it. Just reminds me of my recoveries. It's like you're
It's not
trying to
fun.
stay positive, but it's just like, oh God, painful.
Yesterday I went outside and was at the beach just sitting and watching, like seeing that it was windy and it was just not fun. I mean, I would have even gone out to wing, but yeah, there's just no possibility. So now I just really try to do as much as possible here, and yeah, once the screws are out, I try to be as much as possible outside. But right now it's just that time that I can't really do much. It's kind of frustrating, but then in a way I try to keep busy doing bike and whatever I can for the body.
Yeah. What else are you doing? Are you doing anything else, like just to keep the brain? I don't know. You've
Well, I mean, I go a lot to the physio, so I mean, I spend my time kind of doing everything I can to be fit again.
Yeah.
And then if I don't feel like anything, I just watch TV.
Yeah.
Why lie on the live stream?
Well, actually, JC, funnily enough, JC said, "Oh, you've got to ask him what kind of series is he into? What's he watching?" He goes, "I really want to know." Well, so there you go. There's a perfect segue.
Oh, well, now I'm watching The Office.
Okay, with the English one or
The English one, yeah, it's fun.
Perfect.
Well, everything I watch is in English. Yeah, my wife, well, we talk in English, so yeah, that's about it. It's a lot of episodes, a lot of seasons, so plenty of time.
Classic.
There's stuff to laugh. I don't know. Not much that I need else that during the day.
Yeah.
Fun
So
stuff.
you're watching more comedies on the series rather than like Game of Thrones and stuff like this.
Yeah, has to be comedies.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. I like that. Another question: would the French safety release foot strap have prevented this injury? Do you know what that is?
I've never heard of it, but I think any safety release on a foot strap is not really like a good idea when you're jumping and doing moves on the wave, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's something to pull a strap off, I don't think it's gonna work out. If it's by pressure, I also don't really think that it's that good since we put that much pressure in the foot strap.
Yeah. I think people don't realize that
I don't know it. I mean, if I would try it and test it, then maybe I could figure it out. But right now, I think it happened while twisting that much.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
would have to. Yeah.
I know a lot of people have tried to come up with it. Again, I don't know this particular foot strap that we're talking about, but I do know, like on a bottom turn, the pressure on the foot strap is absolutely insane. So it's not usually why your foot doesn't break is not necessarily the pressure, it's just the angle or some sort of.
Well, you can always sail like Bart from Tenerife, like with these half straps.
See that? I mean, for anyone who doesn't know,
he does everything on it.
Yeah, Bart David was like old school PWA rider. I always remember like watching the videos, and he was doing these tabletop forwards and doubles, and he was a bit of like a hell man, like his crazy rasta hair. And then he injured his ankle pretty badly, or he injured it a lot of times. And then I'm pretty sure the doctor said, "Look, Bart, if you do it again, you're not going to be able to use your ankle or something. So it kind of cut off windsurfing. But he then went, well, I'm not going to not windsurf. So then he started windsurfing without foot straps. I think when he came back, he was doing it with no foot straps at all. Then he got a bit bored of that. So now he's designed these little hooks, hasn't he, that he puts his feet in. And he's doing back loops. He's doing all sorts of stuff.
He's doing everything. Well, I haven't seen the crashes on it. I only seen the good stuff on the last video that was posted. But it's a good idea. I mean, it's the only option I think he has to sail, actually. So he found a good solution for it. But about a safety release foot strap, I don't know. I wouldn't really find it that good for what we do.
Yeah. I mean, imagine it releases at the wrong time, because having one foot out is sometimes worse. And
you break your knee.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Exactly.
That's what happened with my knee, actually. I lost my back foot strap. It came out, my back foot, while landing an aerial, like where I had a lot of pressure. And then obviously the front leg got extended and then kind of twisted everything. So
that was in Nauru, was it?
That was in Nauru. So I wouldn't really play around with that much after that one.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. I'd be a bit scared. I think Steve Rabbit says, good luck with the recovery. Enjoy your time with your children. Without cost action, it's only half Sylt World Cup. Yeah, I mean, this is a big one for you, isn't it, in Germany? What's your record been like here in Sylt? I always remember when you came here in a good position and it was your first time and you had a shocker. I do remember that, because I just remember thinking, oh, poor bugger, like he's just killed it in Gran Canaria. And then I think you came to Sylt and you really did have a shocker, didn't you? Is that I remember rightly?
Yeah, I think that was the first year I won Poso.
Yes.
When I was 15, I felt amazing. I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing good this year. It's only Poso and Sylt, and I don't know what else was on the calendar. But yeah, I felt really confident. You know, like when you're a young guy and just everything goes well.
Yeah.
Got into the first heat of the morning in Sylt against Goyito. But obviously I didn't know Sylt, so I was like, all right, I'll just try my best and let's see how it goes. It's too small of a sail. It started raining. I didn't even make it out. Went onto the rocks, cut it open all my legs and the wetsuit, and didn't make it into the heat.
Yeah, that's exactly what I knew there was something, because I remember thinking, oh my God, he's come here leading everything. Everyone's talking about he's in Germany for the first, time sailing Sylt, and then you get the full Sylt humbling. Like, oh.
It really crushed me a lot, but it's all good. I learned a lot by it. I always come very prepared to Sylt now.
You need those lessons.
But I had so many cameras then also on the beach in Sylt, because I won Sylt. I was young, and being German, it helps a lot in Sylt to have a lot of media attention.
Yeah.
So I just didn't know how to deal with all that. So doing very bad in the contest and then having a lot of camera and stuff around me, that was just too new for me. Over the years, you get into it and you actually start to enjoy this stuff. But at that point, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, it's a mad place here in Sylt to be a windsurfer.
And Goyito sailed good. He sailed really amazing in that heat, because I was watching it, obviously, from the beach.
I bet you there's been so many riders here that haven't made it out for the heat. And it sounds stupid because people at home go, oh yeah, but it's not that. It is
hard.
It's hard. You've got to have a bit of a plan. You've got to be patient. I mean, you can end up 2 miles down the beach and still be trying to get through the shore break, It can be a very difficult place. But the good thing about Sylt is, the mad thing as a windsurfer is having the crowd on the beach. A couple of years ago, I always remember, a fair few years ago now, but you couldn't even get out of the water. There was just crowds of people. And I'm thinking, wow. I mean, that's pretty cool. You don't get...
Well, that's the amazing part of Sylt. I mean, all the people that come to the beach, not only to, drink and have their food and stuff, but also just stand there, and it doesn't matter what kind of weather, and watch the action. It's just fun to see.
Yeah.
Also when you're on the water, and also when you end doing a wave ride in the heat and have to run up, all the people standing on the water and cheer on the beach and cheering.
Yeah.
It's just fun. It's just such a different thing on the tour. Then you compare it to Poso and, you know, Fiji, for example, or Japan. There's not that many people that are on the beach and cheering. So it's just totally different vibe.
Yeah. And you can hear the commentary. I guess that's in German as well. So you can.
But you don't hear much. You hear Ingo sometimes when he screams, but
yeah.
yeah.
I definitely hear him.
This year I really missed going to Sylt. I think it would have been fun. Forecast looks a bit on the edge. I think probably they're gonna try it. If it's gonna be a wave contest, if it doesn't change now with the forecast, I think it's gonna be on big gear. But I think it still can be fun. I mean,
who do you think is going to win the world title this year? Because it's going to be close, isn't it? I mean, 2 events to go: Sylt here and Maui. Maui has to count. It's undiscardable. Who you putting your money on?
I think Ricardo's sailing really good. He seems very motivated. Finally, he got his bags back, so he has a chance to get a result here.
Yeah.
But I think if I would have to put my money on Brasilia, I think he looks very, very ready. Okay, he had a very bad result in Fiji, like the same one as me, I think, last one. I think also if you have a bad time in Fiji and just don't have the timing right, then it just doesn't go. So I think he has a very, very good chance here in Sylt. He always does very good, and I think Maui, coming from Maui, he's favorite there. And then shouldn't forget about Marc Paré. I think he is also hungrier than anyone else for the title.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It does feel like it's between those 3 riders.
Well, it feels almost like he's too much on it. But I would really like to see him also win it. I mean, obviously when I'm not there, but next year I still want to do good.
Yeah.
But I think that it seems really fun to see it now from the outside, like who's gonna win, who's gonna do good. It's about which heat is gonna be better. I don't know how is the seeding. I haven't checked it now. Also the heats, if there's any interesting one. But it's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun.
I mean, Sylt is a tricky one, isn't it? Sylt's a tricky one because Thomas Traversa notoriously always does well here. He sort of rides it like it's down the line and it's bolt on shore, and he's still like, I don't know how he does it, but he's you know, he depending where he is in the draw, I should actually look. But in fact,
I think it's gonna be fun to watch. I will definitely watch it. And then Maui, I don't know if Thomas goes to Maui. He also does good there.
Yeah. I mean, with the exponential point system, it could change things a bit, I guess. I'm just having a look at the seeding.
And then it's also interesting with the mandatory event on Maui. So a lot of people didn't really have any chance to train there since it's kind of impossible to afford any place there.
Yeah.
To have that mandatory is, in my eyes, not really like the coolest thing. But
it's difficult, isn't it?
Difficult. Right now, I've been checking like flights. Flights have been very, very cheap, like 800, 900 euros. I mean, that was way cheaper than going to Australia just to train and get ready for Japan. I think end of December I was checking.
Okay.
But like to find an accommodation under 250, like impossible.
A night.
And to have that event mandatory when everyone can't really train there, it's rough.
Yeah, it is tricky. That is a tricky one. But I definitely want to see the boys going like head to head. Maui can put up some wild cards in there as well. Some guys that don't do all the tour.
Yeah, obviously. My first heats in Maui have been always like Levi or Robbie Nash, like really the tough ones.
Yeah. It's interesting, and maybe people don't know this, but like I would say, you could be the most underrated sailor in Maui, because I always feel that people go, no, he's a poser, but he doesn't really. And then I see you sailing there. All the other guys have seen you sailing. I've seen you do a double forward off the lip back in the wave, which is insane. But I mean, your wave riding, I think, is very underrated on that wave. Like, you have a hell of a top turn. Like, and I don't think, I mean, what's your best result in Maui so far?
I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. You don't remember it because
Not good.
it's not been great. But I feel like you maybe it's been a bit harsh. Like it's either been super light or you've had some tricky heats, or you. I think people will have a shock when you're fit and healthy, and we go back to Maui in maybe even next year. I think people might go, "Oh, bloody hell, this guy can."
Well, I would try my best. I mean, I've been sailing a lot on Maui,
Yeah,
and my first Maui trip was when I was 12, and I think I've been on Maui 25, 30 times.
yeah.
So I've had my good Maui times in Hokipa and testing everything and just having a good sail there. So it's nothing really new for me to be on Maui.
Yeah.
But then obviously having the tour only on Portac the whole year and then suddenly switching to little problems.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
that's
all right.
I was going to say that's the tricky bit. You boys go from 10 going to France, waiting around for another 10 days, and then getting on the plane, jet lag, and almost starting the Maui event right there with no practice. And then you've got like legends like, Levi and Pritchard and this who have been in Maui, relaxed, training, sailing, having fun. And then they start the comp, and you boys are, pretty much tour jaded and then you've got to go against these guys as well. I mean, it's impressive stuff that you guys can even put on a good show after all that, because I always think it's pretty difficult.
Well, Maui not that much. There's a lot of jet lag.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this year was for me was very hard to go from Japan to Chile. I think in the time from beginning of the Japan contest to the end of Chile event, I had 3 days on the water. So in total in a month, I've been only 3 days on the water for 2 events, and it's you just get so out of sync with the equipment. So all these long breaks and jet lag and stuff, if you don't sail before the event, it makes it really hard.
Yeah.
So if you're a wild card in that event and you sail at the same place all the time, like me here in Gran Canaria or Marino or all the guys, I mean, you have it hard as someone that comes from Maui.
Yeah, no, for sure. We've got a few more questions, but I'll try and whip through them. How many boards do you snap a year with these extremely hard landings?
Well, in the past years, I stopped kind of snapping like many boards. I think this year only one prototype I broke.
Okay.
But otherwise, I mean, I haven't really sailed much this year. Obviously, the boards get used, but snap too, not really.
Yeah, I think what people probably don't realize is if you wanted to snap one, you probably could, because you've got so much control. You could probably do whatever you want, because a board can only take so much. Literally the height you get. But I would say you've got such good skill now in how you land. I think if you did a planing double, it's risking it, isn't it? Because it's
risking it,
yeah.
But I know when I want to break a board, I can do it in a session, or normally in one run. So that's what I did. What I used to do actually with construction testing.
Okay. I remember filming that for Windsurfing TV. I can literally see it like it was yesterday. You turned up to the beach.
Yeah, you can basically snap any board that you kind of want with my weight. So
oh man, I don't know if anyone's ever seen it. It was quite a few years ago now, but you had some different constructions that they wanted you to test. And you basically went, right, connected it. I was like, hey, mate, you're like, yeah. Went out, literally first run, within 50 meters, double, bang, snapped. Came in, put it back in the van, got the next board, next one. Again, still remember exactly the same position, like 50 meters, double, bang, no, snap. Back in, another board. I'm pretty sure you snapped that one as well.
Could happen.
And then I think you got out the normal one that you usually use and went sailing. I was like, oh my God. I don't think they passed the construction test.
But sometimes you got to do it. So to see what is good, what holds well, and then,
Well, I definitely think you're the man for the construction test. Push double forward or push loop into air chachu. That's someone suggesting.
I think more push double forward than push air chachu. I think push air chachu, I mean, could try it, but with full body armor.
When are you going to bring back the
I know
plum?
a few times I had a few crashes off a push loop, and then that the front hand like slips out of the boom.
Okay.
But I wouldn't try an air chachu. It's too risky, I think, for my teeth. So
Yeah, that could be nasty. The plum, are you going to bring back the plum?
yeah, obviously.
Or the cheese roll into back loop? That kind of disappeared. I used to quite like the look of that when you boys were doing those.
I mean, all these kind of jumps would come back if there would be 3 jumps counting in the contest. It would be more exciting. But if it's only 2 jumps counting, you only go for the best counting ones and not like the third fun-looking one.
Yeah.
What about there's no need to do that anymore.
Have you thought, like, what if you had to do? I thought about this before. You had to do a tabletop, like that tabletop level, because everyone's got to do one. If you just do an average one, the other guy is going to gain points on you. So your tabletop would have to be ninja. It would have to be one-handed, or it would push the level of tabletops. Not that would go down very well, because I know no one.
That would be good, yeah. Well, I can do one-handed tabletops, but I've never really got into normal ones anymore.
Yeah, we got to bring the tabletop back.
Got to do that.
There's a lot of people saying good recovery. Hope you get better. Would you be happy to see a clip mullet event again?
Yeah, obviously. It's a fun event.
Great spot. We've had some good sailing there. I mean, definitely.
It's fun to sail. And once a good forecast is always good. I haven't been there now, 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah, probably been a while. For 3 rotations, I would wear a motorcycle back protection. Maybe. But so they do say, and you've got some advice on this. When you speak to a few of them, and it was the same in speed, people have stopped wearing the impact vest because the impact vest stops the body going into the water, so then your neck gets extended more. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I've never had an impact vest, only the impact wetsuits.
Okay.
But I think, it could happen that you get a bit of a neck problem. Yeah. But for now, the impact wetsuit always helped me a lot with the impact. So it could be way thicker, honestly. I still come out of the water quite bruised.
Really?
On the leg, yeah. And on the back, actually. But just to have like a full-on.
What's your most painful crash? Is there a certain move that's painful?
Push forward.
Push forward, yeah. I was forward. To say that.
Yeah.
That is
doubles don't get painful really. Only the very high stalled ones.
Yeah.
Those ones can get quite painful. But I think the push forward, if you under rotate a little with the forward and not have enough power, that one is just quite painful. Quite a lot of days of headaches I had from that.
Yeah, I've been coughing up blood I remember the early days on that, but I always remember telling you that, and you were like, what? I was like, I don't know. It's just like, I remember Swifty as well.
Yeah.
What we got? Matteo saying, best spot in the winter with a lot of wind from the left. Australia, I guess.
Australia, Cape Town.
I
think Gran Canaria I wouldn't really recommend in the winter. I know there's a lot of people saying like 360 days a year, but winter is just not good here. I mean, you can go to the north of the island, maybe score a few sessions. Starboard tack, actually, from the right. Fuerteventura has some good spots, but it's mostly also...
When does it kick in usually? Like, because it's notoriously not great around Christmassy time, but then it starts to come in, March? Does it start?
March can be good.
March.
But before that, you always get like bits and pieces. Sometimes,
But more going on.
I recommend a holiday here from, I don't know, November. Well, actually, no. Now it's also pretty bad. But from September, October till March, I wouldn't really say this is the place to be. It is cheap to come here from Europe, which is not bad. You can still get your sessions in, but just this consistent stuff from summer you don't get.
Okay. Well, sorry, I'm just going through the questions at the same time because I know, like I said, I've always looked at Gran Canaria, but for me in the winter, it's more look at the forecast. If it looks good, then you can
go on forecast. But if you have to plan it for a long time ahead, it's quite risky.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's Nigel saying, bring back the one-handed tabletop. The Jesus Christ Air was his favorite move from the 90s. That is what you do yours.
Yeah, they're really fun. Would love to do them in the contest, but
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that again. It was a shame that World Cup in Tenerife was cancelled. At the time, there were some epic conditions. What does it make a difference to you to surfing Cabezo or Pozo?
Yeah, it's quite different. Cabezo has good wave to wave ride. Honestly, a good pocket also to do like nice 360s turns. It's longer than Pozo. Pozo is mostly backside riding, and then you can squish in a few front sides, but they never really feel amazing. But in Tenerife, you get good front side turns, I would say.
Would it be fair to say Cabezo's kind of like your home spot where you grew up, Vargas?
Yeah, it's quite similar, I would say. Vargas was quite a closeout, honestly. You can get one or two in, but then it's just done. But the first part of the wave is quite similar, yeah. It's quite fun. I like sailing Cabezo. I think the World Cups that we've done over there, they've been always good. I mean, always fun.
It's crazy. Before and after, sometimes no wind. The World Cup, amazing. I mean, you've had really good results in Cabezo, if I'm not wrong.
I had really good results. Actually, one of the best World Cups that I've ever done there. I think Pozo and Cabezo have been always like my favorite ones.
Yeah. Have you lost in Cabezo?
I think so. I'm not sure. I would have to check it, honestly.
I'm pretty sure every time I remember you were winning them all.
I think I got second once against Victor.
Second ones, yeah.
No, but I have, and Cabezo really had a really good stretch of contests.
Yeah, I seem to remember you winning nearly every one. I was thinking, my God, that's why I was kind of thinking it must be a bit like Vargas. It's good. We got. Do you use mental training in this downtime, like video analyzing yourself or others? By the way, your new harness is really good.
Thank you. Well, video analysis, I try to stay away as possible from windsurfing stuff. Just makes me sad to watch it. The stuff.
It is difficult, isn't it? For anyone who's not been injured, and when you're a windsurfer who, like you are the windsurfer. You are windsurfing all the time.
Yeah.
You have done. So it is difficult, isn't it? Sometimes it's better just to.
I try to block it kind of. I watch the contest because it's interesting and to see how the others do, what they do in the heat, anything new.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't want to watch more windsurfing stuff to in a way it can motivate me, but right now I just don't want to see it.
It's too far away, I guess.
It's too far away. I mean, if I'm a month before getting back on the water, then I get, I don't know, pumped up. How do you want to say it? But but right now I just don't want to.
Yeah, I can.
It's a strange thing to say. When you're injured, you just don't want to think about that. You want to focus on some other stuff and getting good, and
no,
it would be, I don't know, torture to watch it.
Yeah, I could see. Let's say it's stoked to see you guys keep pushing the limits, even though you get a bill sometimes in form of injuries. Yeah, I mean that's the thing when you're pushing the level or when you're sailing a lot at that level, and people, I mean, even you sailing on your easy day, there's still chances of doing something, isn't it? Like you said, that 360, you've probably done that how many times? Never a problem.
Oh, thousands. I mean, I've never injured myself doing a double. Never doing a double. Okay, a few headaches, but nothing really major. I've had more injuries doing like a stupid 360 that was not even in a good section and just on a flat spot going out of the wave. Oh. You know, this kind of what's it called? Wimaru thing. that sort of stuff. That's where I injured my foot.
Have you ever injured yourself? What's the stupidest injury you've done, but not windsurfing?
There's quite a few. Broke my femur also when I was little, when I was young.
Oh, really?
Just playing in the playground, just jumping from the swing. Yeah, and then just stuff playing. Also broke my arm, the bone, and broke the artery also.
Really?
Yeah, and that's why I have a big scar on the arm.
Okay. How did you do that?
Also, just playing. So actually, now the injuries that I've had with windsurfing, they are nothing compared to what happened before.
Blooming heck. Do you
But it was
do
just dumb stuff, honestly. It was nothing exciting to tell. I could say this was a shark attack, but it was not.
It sounds way cooler. do you do any other sports apart from windsurfing? Obviously, when you're fit, are you doing much other stuff?
I tried to go surfing, SUP also, but yeah, mostly stuff outside.
Mostly water.
Mountain biking is fun.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I have to be on the water. Not really much of the outside guy. I'm not gonna go run or something.
No, I'm with you on that.
I
Sometimes
run once a year for the World Run from Red Bull, like this Wings for Life World Run in Munich, and I have enough after that.
That's it. I've run this year.
I make my 10 to 14 kilometers just because everyone is running, so you keep on running with the people, but otherwise, yeah, it doesn't go.
See that. Someone asked, what was the name of the guy sailing with that? The Footstraps called Bart David from Tenerife. You can
I think Danny Bruch posted a video not long ago of him.
Yeah, if you're on Instagram or something like that, if you go on Bruce Boards, I think it's on Windsurfing TV. I think I actually reposted it as well. But there's a whole video showing the foot straps and showing him doing moves. It's interesting. I think it's got quite a few views, and so it should, because it is kind of funky. That's for sure.
Yeah, windsurfing after injuries and finding new ways to get on the water is really inspiring sometimes. I think in Mauritius a few years ago, I saw one guy that was missing part of the arm, and he was still sailing. He had sort of a help, like so he can hook his arm in the boom.
Yeah,
he was ripping. He was still sailing in the waves and stuff, and just that kind of stuff is really inspiring. I think injuries, yeah, they're bad, but you have always some way to get back into it or do some kind of sport. Okay, yeah. Sometimes there's extremes where you can't, but I think there's a lot of ways to still do stuff.
Yeah, 100%. When will you start competing in slalom?
Once they separate slalom, like foil from slalom.
That might be happening. That might be happening.
2 days ago, which is too scary for me.
Yeah.
I love doing slalom. I think I could train myself to maybe get somewhere in slalom, but right now with the foiling, I don't have a good foiling spot here. I mean, obviously they did foiling here in the contest, but it's not really what my foiling is in my eyes.
Yeah. No.
Slalom, really fun, but on a foil, it's just too hard for me to train, I would say.
Yeah. Well, you've done a few. You've done a few slalom bits and pieces, Landslin Ocean Classic and stuff.
I've done Landslin Ocean Classic at a few German events like years ago. But it was always fun. But then finding the right people here to train with is also hard. So I would have to go to Tenerife, I think. There's like always a group of people, but I never really got to that.
Yeah.
Still, I'm very focused in waves, and now with 6 or 7 events a year,
it's totally changed now, hasn't it?
Yeah, they took away the slalom part for me now. Definitely.
Just out of interest, if you'd have been fit and healthy, would you have gone to Peru? Because I know it was only a 4-star event, but you went to.
I would have done everything.
Really cool.
Yeah. So that was actually my goal, to do every single event, and then see what happens. I mean, if it's always good to be at contests and compete. I would say it's nothing bad. Just because of 4 stars, I wouldn't say no. I don't want to go there because doesn't really give me many points.
Yeah.
Like as an athlete, I would say the more events, the better.
Yeah.
Like the more media you can get, and it's just part of the work. I mean, if there's the possibility to do stuff after years of not having much,
Yeah.
I mean, why not do everything?
Yeah. Oh,
Of
too.
course,
Got the money.
financially it's hard. I would say also just to get everywhere, because Japan, Fiji, Chile, and Maui, to go to all the places is really hard. So I think they need to, I don't know, it still needs a lot of time to adjust, I think, for the people to get the right sponsors, to find good partnerships so they can make everything. So I think this year was more of a test year, and then in the future it's gonna be better, I think.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Peru? You never been to
No. But I had already 105 leaderboard for it.
Oh, really?
Of course.
I think it might not have been big enough, because
I don't think it would have been big enough. Doesn't matter what size I would have taken, it would have been not all right.
yeah.
I think Brazinho also in a few heats, he only catch 2 waves, and he weighs still like 10, 15 kilos less than me, I think. And also in the women's side, I saw a few heats where they only catch 1 wave.
Yeah. It looked so light. There was a couple of mirror, like really was. On the wave, it looked still light, but still doable. But trying to get back up, I heard there's a lot of current, so you need a bit more breeze. Okay, we're going to do a few more questions. Matteo says, tips on backies off chop.
Off chop?
Chop.
Well, definitely not wait and see. You just gotta, straight turn. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm not a good teacher. You're better of a teacher.
I would say like do a lot of the turning before the
turning before, and then straight away look over your shoulder and
get the hand back.
It's more, honestly, it's more of a push loop than a back loop when it's off the chop.
And just trying to get the nose in.
Yeah.
Trying to stop yourself. I mean, coaching like this is very tricky. You need a bit longer, but
I'm not a good coach. I mean, there's a lot of good coachings out there.
I seem to remember asking you about double forwards years ago, and you went, just put your hand back, close your eyes, and then land. I was like, okay, that's what I'm not sure if he's having me on here.
I think I think a bit more about it now. I could give a few more tips, but not much.
You're not going to give away the good tips, are you? I mean, maybe you'd give them to me now, but I'm sure.
Well, the way I learned this stuff is by watching a lot of windsurfing videos. I think I learned a lot of things about doubles by Ricardo. I think years ago when he was doing them, I was just watching all the time. How is he doing it? And then, kind of worked out.
It kind of worked out. The thing that you don't realize is, or you don't realize because you're so talented, you learn moves so quickly. So, when you learned to double forward, yes, you probably had a few crashes, but way, way less before you mastered it than other people. Like, I see some people to this day still can't consistently land doubles. So every time they go for them, they risk hurting themselves. Whereas now, the only risk you have really is from landing too well, or and you, like you say, you've never hurt yourself doing a double. But I think it's a lot to do with you're so fast at understanding, okay, that didn't work, I'm going to do that, and your body changes, or you do something and then you've
not always work.
Well, no, but I remember asking you, I said, I think we did an interview, it was years ago, and I said something like, what's the move that's took you the longest or the trickiest one? And you went, I think it was the no-handed goiter. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, how long that take? And you went, yeah, it took like a couple of days. And I was like, oh, bloody hell. Oh, poor you, a couple of days.
I was training that before, actually, for the movie Minds Wide Open. So they have actually my first proper one. So that was quite a fun thing to do. But it took me a little while.
2 days, 3 days.
But once you feel completely good with the equipment, I think you can make it good.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Okay.
But I think watching movies have really worked out very well. I think I learned a lot in the past with just watching it.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I would 100% back that up, and I always have that story about Jamie Hancock. You got to go.
no, that's all right.
No, I
Yeah.
was just going to say, I always remember this. Jamie Hancock injured himself, spent a lot of time editing Cowley Ciardi's videos for back then it was Brendan Pyatt, and he was editing. It was like a 7 series in Peru and like Ibericara, and he's watching. Came back from injury and like literally went straight to Ireland for the British competition, and he's sailing better wave riding, honestly, than I'd ever seen him sail before. And he said it was I said, what have you been doing? He's like, I've just been editing Cowley for like 3 months or something. And I honestly think just by, seeing it in your brain, I really think it makes a difference. And
it makes a big difference. Yeah.
There's quite a lot of studies that prove it.
When I was young, I also watched all the PWA DVDs. I had all of them. I was watching every stop, how they were sailing. I mean, maybe I learned from the spots how how they were sailing there. So I was kind of a big movie fan of windsurfing stuff. I think that now got a bit less over the years with other people. I think now there's not any more the cool DVDs. You don't get excited once you buy them. But I think there's still a lot to watch online that you can learn off.
It's interesting. Actually, just speaking to Mark Paré yesterday, he's just been to Iceland for like a little 4-day on a forecast mission. And honestly, there's some sailing in there and some conditions. I think you're going to look at it, go, apart from the cold. I said to him, how warm was it? He's like, oh, it was pretty warm. It was like 9 to 10 degrees. I was like, it's not exactly warm, Mark.
But training in those temperatures must be hard. I can't do that.
Not me either.
I remember the storm chase where it was, I think, 7, 6.
Wow.
I don't know. It was just not fun.
No,
it was fun to compete, but then after one heat, we were just running into the cars and getting warm on the hands, and stuff. I'm just not made for that.
That is how you injure yourself, I think.
Sometimes it's fun.
Yeah.
I think for a little trip, I think like Mark did it for 4 days, but then once the wetsuit is not getting dry properly for I don't know how many days.
Ooh. And there's people out there going 9 degrees, Ben. That's warm. And there'll be other people saying, "Oh, that's bloody freezing."
But then you add the wind and maybe a little bit of rain, and horrible.
Chilly enough. Have you ever been to Brittany?
Brittany? Yeah. We had 2 contests there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. We never really got it really good.
No, we were unlucky with the competitions, weren't we?
In La Torre was quite all right.
Yeah.
But then Crozon was not.
No, I think Crozon, we didn't get any win, but I've seen some really good video from around that area. It looks like, I was just speaking to Dieter yesterday, and he said he went up there for like a little mission and then ended up staying 2 weeks or something because it was just so good. So it's kind of on my list, that.
There's a lot of French good windsurfers from there, so it has to be really good.
Yeah, no, you're right. And also like where Jules Dinell's from, further up. Which is pretty interesting. Penghu, Taiwan, windiest place in the winter. Starts next week, apparently.
Oh, next week.
It's the winds are coming.
I heard about it. Some people have told me already about it, but I don't know. It's never really been on my radar.
Yeah.
I don't know about the waves.
Yeah, not me. I've seen it on. I've seen some video from there. It does look like a windy place. We've got another question here. Any new moves that no one has seen until now? Is there any moves you've got in your head? Or I
think Balz is more the one that has all the new moves in the head. I don't know, a few variations, but nothing really that I would say nothing that I would like to claim mine.
No more. What have we got here? I'm just having a look before we wrap this up. Are we ever going to see you in a freestyle competition? Because you've got some moves.
Well, I've done a few, I think. I think 2008 I did my last one. And then something maybe in between still.
Yeah, because I remember you doing a double in Furta, or like a perfect double off chop, and I was like, "Whoa!" And you've got a few moves. What's your freestyle move repertoires?
Well, first of all, I get confused by the names. I don't know how you do it on the live stream, but I
I'm getting
think
better.
I can do the culo and what is that?
The toad. I see you do the toad.
Toad.
The clue first one when you.
I don't know this.
I love it. You don't know the name.
Double grubby.
Oh yeah,
Double spock I can also do.
really? What about Supercross? Would you like to do that?
Super, yeah, that would be fun.
I could imagine because your forwards are so
I
good.
can do flacas, I can do spocks. What? Okay, if they put in scopus, I can't do that. I don't know the ducking or tucking, how they call it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that properly. I can maybe do a burner if I'm lucky, if the sail doesn't go anywhere.
That's going to be.
But I think it's quite important to do a little bit of freestyle for wave riding. It helps you a lot.
Yeah.
Like all the good freestylists, they got really good into waves. Like if you look at Cowley and Brasinho and Ricardo, they're all the like top names in wave sailing, but they have like a freestyle background. Yeah. So doing freestyle once in a while all the time, if you think that you're only a wave sailor, is pretty good.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like I'm really happy to see now also Marino and Liam doing a bit of freestyle.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
I mean, it helps. It helps a lot.
Yeah,
I think it's still treated as a joke a little bit. They have like a lot of fun time, but I think it will make good for the sailing.
I'd agree. You get a bit more competition experience. You're learning a few more moves. You're understanding different things.
Equipment. I mean, if you compare of a pure wave rider that has never done freestyle at the Goide, I mean, you can see it in the wave moves. Like who does a bit of freestyle? Okay, I don't know if Levi has done freestyle. Maybe he has done.
He's done a bit.
Like the King of the Lake, maybe he did it.
Yeah.
But if you have a little bit of a feeling from freestyle, you can do the moves way better.
Yeah, I agree.
You just understand how everything works.
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
just understanding more sail, everything about it makes sense, especially for wave moves.
Yeah.
Who is your windsurfing hero?
Windsurfing hero.
Because you're kind of young for the Bjorn and the Robbie,
Yeah, I've never seen them in the contest.
Yeah.
I've seen always like the windsurfing videos, but they were also pretty old.
Yeah.
Already, the videos. So I grew up with Cowley, like sailing stuff, and Ricardo and Antoine Albo also.
Yeah.
And from watching people sail good here in Gran Canaria, I think also Vida Jensen and Orion. I mean, they've been really, really good sailing, good to watch always.
Yeah.
And I think I still have a picture with Tonki, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think that was always like a cool inspiration because in Vargas from 2002 to 2004, I think they had the World Cup right in front of my doorstep.
Okay.
And it was not windy enough for wave sailing, I think, but they still did freestyle. And yeah, I think the freestyle part of Tonki and Tati, they really, I don't know, motivated also.
I actually remember Tonki from back.
There's a lot of people actually that I like to watch. Not sure if I call them like windsurfing hero, but I think
inspirations.
Just inspiration, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Tonki on those AHD.
I still have the picture somewhere.
There's the Tonki on the AHD and the Gastra, and he used to do these massive floaty jumps. Like that was around 2003, 2004 when I first came to Gran Canaria. And I always remember it. He was on like kind of a biggish freestyle board and not wave board and just going huge floaty jumps. It was pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to let you go soon. Honestly, let me just go through this. What trick has caused you the most problems?
Well, no-handed goiter maybe, but I think
2 days.
Starboard tack, jumping. Honestly, that one is hard.
Yeah,
I think starboard tack jumping. Since on Maui, I haven't jumped much. Still gives me trouble. Doubles I learned because I was under pressure in Japan. a few years ago, I went there for a meeting for Severn, and yeah, they really expected me to do a double. They really wanted me to see, like, they really wanted to see a double, but I didn't know how to do a double. So my first tries, they were under pressure with a lot of Japanese, all the crew there on the beach watching, because they really wanted to see a double, but I didn't know how. So I had terrible back slaps, and my feet came out, but I think at the end I made one or two that were acceptable.
But that I see there was a video, wasn't there? Was there a video?
Yeah, it was on video, but
that was your first attempts, because they were pretty good. I mean, if that was like your first attempts in a day, I was like,
I don't think the first attempts were on the video.
Okay, because they look pretty good when I saw them.
It was all right after doing them for so long on port tack. I think I kind of knew how to do it on starboard, but yeah, it was still a mission.
I mean, when you're so good on port tack, like your idea, your level of how good they should be, because I think everyone else sees your doubles on starboard, they'd go, wow, they're actually really good. But for you, it's like they don't feel like port. Port, you can do them any angle, any takeoff, any way, probably.
Well,
within reason, you know what I mean? You can save a double. I think on your bad tack, usually
save them, yeah. If I make them even bad, or if I feel that the foot is kind of getting out of the strap, I still kind of can correct it a little bit.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I can imagine. Have you heard anything about storm chase? Someone's asking.
Storm chase, I don't know. Every year we're kind of on standby a little bit. They're still waiting for like the perfect storm. Quite a lot of work goes into it, so I kind of understand that they don't want to run it in anything. They have a lot of stuff to organize. All the crew, I don't know how many people were involved last time, but I think around 40, 50. So there's quite a lot of stuff behind, and you only just see us sailing, but just to plan a good storm chase under forecast is really hard. So you want to have like the best storm possible and like the best conditions.
Yeah, and it's difficult, isn't it? I know the storm chase is all about the storm, but it'd be nice to do like a epic condition chase. You know what I mean? Like rather than like the crazy storm. But I know that's really good for media. Storm, put storm in anything, because the stuff from Cornwall where they had like the little bit of a that looked epic. Like the bluffs type stuff looked really special. Oh, I tell you what, someone's. Oh, well, look at this one. This is a bit spicy. Enough praise, some criticism. It seems with big stuff, you are still sailing passively, like not pumping much, making it more difficult to compete in poor conditions. Is it because you are demotivated?
Oh.
Gosh.
Well, I mean, if you want to think that, I mean, everyone can think what they want, but maybe they don't know that I have kind of in a contest 14 sails rigged and maybe 10 boards ready, and I'm ready for everything.
Yeah.
If I'm not going, it just doesn't go.
Well, that's the thing.
There's no other chance then. If I see that it's light wind, I always take my biggest gear and try to pump and do everything possible. I think I'm not at the stage yet that I'm not motivated to compete. Maybe, who knows, when I'm older and nothing goes well, but right now everything goes so well that I really want to do the best I can. Maybe he refers about Cabo Verde, where I was not training, but there was just no chance for me to go upwind. Honestly, there was no wind.
I was going to say, because I think that I read that comment and I straight away thought he's on about Cape Verde. And I think what you can't tell from the cameras in Cape Verde is you are below the line to get on the wave. So it's like, because you can't get upwind to where you need to be, if there's someone upwind of you, they're on the line, it's like you can't pump because they're already on it. And then you're always on that. When you can't get upwind enough because you haven't got the power because you're big, you're always below the bit, aren't you? And it's like, you can't get that edge.
And if I would be demotivated, I wouldn't even be in the water, I think. Or I would be just sitting on the board with the sail on the water.
Throw the toys out.
Since that didn't happen, I think, I mean, Wind plays a big role. I mean, if it's very, very light wind, obviously I'm not in my happiest state. I mean, I love having strong wind, having everything perfect, but it's never always perfect to compete. So you gotta compete with what it is there. Then choosing big equipment, you try the best, but if there's no wind or any conditions, then you can't do much. Like in Japan this year, there was also like borderline wind. I've made one back loop and then I couldn't wave ride anymore because couldn't plane anymore since there was no wind. But that didn't get. I mean, the stuff doesn't get cancelled anymore. Normally, years ago, the stuff gets cancelled.
Yeah.
But now, I think the fleet. I don't know how to say it. They just don't weigh anything, so stuff seems makeable.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But
what's your biggest stuff? Just out of interest.
My biggest stuff for Sylt is actually 113. I've actually never really get to use it because it's just so big. It's just a Sylt board for me, and it's 6'2", but also it's still brand new. But I always have it ready on the beach just in case.
Yeah, I think okay. 2 more questions. I've seen this question lots of times, but I think we covered it earlier. But I'm going to ask it because it keeps getting repeated. Tell us about the push loop double forward.
The push loop double forward. I think it started with getting over rotated after the forward, with having a big ramp on a good day. I don't know, being very confident in push forwards. Then I don't know. I just want to do better stuff.
Yeah.
Always looking for something more to add. Now I did one-handed push loop forward, and then after that I said, why not do a push double?
Yeah.
So, it's just stuff to keep stuff interesting. There's not many moves that has been in wave riding lately, so you gotta, I don't know, make stuff exciting, get a little bit of adrenaline in, and I think trying to do a push double is, I don't know, a fun thing to do.
Shifty forward?
Shifty forward, not really.
Someone's actually asking for tips on push forwards here.
Who? What?
Tips on push forwards.
Tips on push forwards. Well, the push forward, the push loop, basically you don't rotate completely. So you do like a 3/4 of a push loop. Try to stop the rotation by opening the sail, by pushing against it and leaning forward. But as I said, I'm not really a good teacher. I know how to do them very well, like out of my head. But trying to explain how to do it.
Yeah, it's a lot of timing, isn't it? Where you've got to commit almost before you do the push loop. You've got to be going.
Basically, in the push loop, you think about rotating once you hit the ramp. Even if it's a really big ramp, it's really hard to over rotate a push forward. So you're never really going to have that problem.
Also, what I get your stalled forward sorted as well. The ones where you push the rig across you, because you need to do that type of forward. And I looking at you and analyzing your videos, you actually move your front hand back on the boom to get the sail further forward when you do because you're trying to do a forward with no power. You know, like from a standstill, you've got to generate your own rotation.
Also, in the push loop, I'm always on the edge of getting backwind after the push loop. So I'm always on the edge of getting the wind from the other side of the sail while trying to do forward. So that's why there's sometimes crash where over rotate and do like a sort of double push loop.
Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna try. I don't like that one.
that is a scary one. Have you ever thought about, just because I know when I was doing push forwards, it was a while ago now, I did that thing where you get that backwinded and it almost turned into a push loop back loop, and I landed and I didn't sail away because I was almost. Have you ever done that push loop back loop?
I've tried push loop back loop, but I crashed so hard that I stopped trying it.
I couldn't recreate it. Like, I've done it twice going for push forwards, but every time I try and go, okay, I can do this, I can't recreate the same.
It's just, I think the problem is to find the right angle of the jump. If you do it downwind, upwind, I just can't figure out how to do it properly. I tried it going very much upwind to end the push loop upwind and then just fall back.
Yeah.
but couldn't make it. So
watch this space.
So a little mystery to do that one.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to you finding
But
out.
if you made it, I mean.
Honestly, this is in Whitsands in Cape Town. It was obviously over 10 years ago. It was probably 10 years ago. And I don't know. Like I said, I don't know why. I was going for a push forward, and as I come up, you know, when you get the back wind after the push loop, I just went, oh, and then I squeezed it, and I landed nose first, and I was like, oh, and then I didn't land. I was too far downwind, but it made me go.
Martin does it with his triple whatever push loop spinning thing.
Yes, exactly. That's crazy.
But I guess he will try and make it, but I'll stick to my, I don't know, goal triple loop.
What about the back black shot or the wasabi? Someone's saying here the wasabi. Which is the
black shot? Black shot. I'm really bad at.
I'm just trying to think. So Boujma is Crazy Pete clue first back loop, is it or something?
Yeah, I'm really bad at Crazy Pete, so I'm not really into it. I can't really recreate Boujma stuff, but I'm really happy with the cheese roll back loop that I made it then after he did it.
That is cool. I actually think you should bring that move back to more people doing it, because I actually think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's pretty cool. All right, dude. I think we'll wrap it up. I'll let you go. Get back to your rehabbing.
Well, thank you. There's not much that I will do to it. Well, maybe another hour of bike.
All right, man. Well, take it easy.
All right.
Let's see if we get some waves. I'm sure you're going to be tuning in. Good luck with the rehab. Hope it all goes good, and we hope to see you back on the water soon.
Thank you very much. Yeah, hopefully there's a good contest still. Slalom looked epic and freestyle.
Yeah.
So yeah, good to see.
I've got some voice left at the end of the week.
All right, cool. Yeah, thank you very much for